Welcome to the stream. We're just getting the stream started, so this will take just a second before we get our official start. So this is going to be a fun one, I think, because um, we're doing a call for all creatives, and this is the most collaborative art project that we've ever been a part of. But we'll get into that, but the cool thing is, I don't know if you're watching this and you want to join the chat. If you're watching this live, then please join in the chat because that's part of the fun. So let's see. I think I got this. It's coming in through my thing. Let me make sure I got everything where it's supposed to be. I think we're ready to start, guys.
All right.
Hey guys.
Hey.
This is an exciting day. We have an art project that I want to talk about, and Jacqi is back from her trip from Colorado. She got back just a couple hours ago, really.
Yep. Ready to party.
Yeah, so she's still
Online.
knocking all the dust from the plane off of her and getting settled back into the Texas lifestyle that we know so well.
Woohoo!
Yeehaw! But tonight's going to be a lot of fun. I'm working on a painting. It's a seascape, so I want to talk about that a little bit. But the main part tonight, as you might be able to tell from below, we're calling all creatives. It's a call for artists. And so it's a little bit different. This is the most collaborative thing that we've ever done. And I'm already, I don't know, it's already kind of, it's going exactly the way I wanted it to. So, which is astounding, actually, a little bit.
I'm excited to see how this comes to fruition.
I am too. And the response that we've already got and it is really it's incredible. It's it's funny because like the response, it's not about numbers. It's about like it's. I mean, when you're doing an art project, it isn't about I don't know, like getting a vast amount of numbers or something. What I really wanted was people who I really respect, the artists that were people that are excited about, that have a lot of energy, people that actually make art, which, you get a lot of people that talk about making art and they're excited about it, which is cool. But, in a project, you want people that are, I don't know, actually doing things. And I've been blown away by the people that have contacted me in different ways and let me know that they're into this. And so it's pretty cool.
So I'm expecting some sort of like Andy Warhol factory lifestyle here, babe.
Yeah, so I've ordered a white wig from Amazon. So I'm going to give it like a weird cut and I'll be ready to go. Now, really what started this is that I was working on a mural at LSA with 5 other amazing artists and after the COVID thing, we've all been so pent up, and I think it's probably even harder for people with a creative mind, because I don't know. It's been kind of repressive, this whole COVID thing, in one way or another, no matter what, just for everyone. And now that things are loosening up a bit, we have a lot to say. People want to talk, and I noticed with the mural that we just had a blast. Like we just had this great time. Everybody did these amazing, colorful murals, and I've had this art project or this way of doing art for a while. And in the past, I would do a lot of sittings. Meet people, you fill their faces. We do like posing and all this sort of stuff. And that was just sort of the way that it went. A lot of the people in my paintings are people that I know, that I've met, most of the people in the paintings. And so, I mean, that's just the way that it worked. And I wanted to get back to that, but I wanted to do something a little bit grander, like a little bit bigger. And I have some inspiration from some artists in the past that have done this sort of stuff. So we want to do a collaborative thing. But not only for my art, for Jacqi's art and all that, but for other artists to be able to get in there and mix it up. So that's sort of what we're doing, but it's really exciting, and I know that I haven't explained it yet.
Well, Ron Captain has joined us and says, hi, guys.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. And Owen is with us and says, hello, calling all artists. So.
Hey, Owen. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Yeah, heck yeah. And
you could tell in like the murals, it was clear that the other artists were like eager to get out and do something publicly, and
Yeah.
and it showed. I mean, even in the murals over at the GDAC, which was a different project, those murals were fantastic, and it was like, I think people are just itching to put something out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so the thing with this project is there's some artists that I really like in the past, and they would put in sets. Okay, let me tell you about one artist, Norman Rockwell. And he isn't always like, like whenever you hear about the great artists of the past and stuff, although he's not that far in the past, but he's not a name that comes up that much. And I think because he did so much commercial art. But I loved him. Like as a kid, I loved Norman Rockwell. Like I just thought his stuff was funny. It had, and that's the other thing. If you have some humor in your art too, then sometimes you aren't taking it as seriously. But some of Norman's work wasn't funny at all. Like he did some stuff about wartime. He did stuff that wasn't like in the Saturday Evening Post that that most people saw. So he had this broad range. But anyway, whether you liked him, whether you didn't, one thing that I thought was really interesting was that he had a phenomenal detail in his paintings, but he would put together sittings where like if you see one of his paintings, he would put together a sitting that was like one of those paintings. So he would actually have people there, all dressed up in the costumes, and he would have all the props and everything. Everything would be just how it needed to be. When photography got better, then he started using a lot of photography stuff for that. So instead of having to put everything in at once, he would take maybe like a bunch of pictures of a telephone, from different angles and stuff. So when he painted, he had all that. But what he worked from the beginning, and what seemed to be the best or most interesting, was he would actually do like almost like a stage, like a play, where you get all this stuff together. And so that's what Jacqi and I were thinking about doing, is actually putting this sort of stuff together where we have a scene. And the great thing about that too is that it opens up the art for so many other people. So I want to work on some different projects, and one of them is this sort of 1920s, 1930s, kind of 40s, but mostly 1920s sort of thing, and comparing it to the 2020s, and having a lot of fun with it. Having it be funny, but also having it be serious. Do lots of different paintings that are involved with this, but also some other things that don't have anything to do with that whole series at all. But like if you set up a scene for like a 1920s sort of thing, then that opens up a lot of opportunities for photographers to come in, because you've got the models, you've got the costumes, you've got the props, you've got all this sort of really cool stuff that's happening. So it makes it easy for a photographer to come in and be able to take their own shots and stuff. And if you have some other artists, you have painters, you have people that draw, they can come in and do that too. Because and the brilliant thing about that too is that it's more of a collective. If you get a group of artists together, it's called a colony. So it's like getting a colony of artists, like a collective.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I learn something every day.
It's like you get a bunch of crows together. It's called a murder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's not that mean for a group of artists. Get a murder of artists together. Or maybe call it envy, because there's always been somebody like, oh, he's better, I don't like him. So there's some of that. No.
Well,
no.
I should say Kylie Sykes joins us and says,
Kylie.
"Howdy, y'all."
Hey.
Hey.
So anyway, the idea is just to be able to put these sort of things together, and it lends itself to travel. It lends itself to a whole bunch of different things.
So are you giving me free reign on thrift store shopping and buying really weird old 20s furniture for props, right?
I'm sorry. There's something about your mic. I'm not really getting you. I think it's really not coming through. I don't know.
We're in the same room.
Sure. You always have free reign. You're crazy.
I've always wanted one of those old timey like fainting couches.
Let me say before you say it, a couch.
Well, you know this.
Well, this isn't the first time you mentioned it.
Well, then I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to go buy a ridiculous old fainting couch.
I like the word ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
and I'm sure after I see the price, I'll be the one fainting, so I'll need it. So this is probably a good purchase all around.
See, I will set it up, get you next to it, and then I'll tell you how much it costs.
Oh boy,
you can faint on it. It'd be great.
Didn't we? What did we? You know, we did like a 20 sit up here in the studio once. What did we have? It wasn't a fainting couch. It was. We had something.
I think we just used. I think we just used the bench from our dining room table.
Oh, was it?
Because it was Mel. It's on video.
And my mom.
Yeah, okay.
Gosh,
so,
you know what? I think you're right, but in my brain, I had so much envision that it was one of those couches that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
That in my mind, that's what I was seeing.
Well, that would have been cool if that was
during the sitting. I mean, so in my mind, that's what we had.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't even need it.
No, that's not how this is gonna work. Okay. Well, Nancy has joined us. Says, hey,
Nancy.
Thanks for tuning in. I just got back from Nancy's and it was a blast. Ron says, I'm willing to help as a model. I'm not an artist, LOL.
Oh, man.
So as he's zipping through delivering some of his giant RVs, he can pop in and faint on the couch for us.
Yeah, you know, and that's brilliant, man. You know, and that's one of the things about this too is that in this series, like anybody can participate, you know, which is a wonderful thing. Like,
well, you were wanting some like models to do zoot suit stuff.
Yeah, zoot, but also like, you know, if you don't want to wear a zoot suit, I mean, there's going to be lots of different options, and also for crowds and stuff too. So like, if you don't want to get too crazy, or if you're a little like shy and you would like to be in a painting, or you want to participate in this, or might even be like a crowd scene. We're just starting to put this together, and I don't know, the response that I've got. You know, I don't want to be too specific about certain things, but I've really been like about the costuming and stuff, and you know, so I don't know, it's pretty cool. I don't know, it's really, really cool. So we're excited. But yeah, so you know, I mean, like, and I want to mix things up a little bit. Like, I think it'd be kind of cool to have maybe some people in flapper dresses or flapper attire, or but also people with disabilities and stuff, you know, and kind of throw that in.
Yeah.
Just do a mashup, mix up, doing things from the 1920s but also the 2020s, and kind of putting that together in a way where that's interesting, where it's like, you know, you're drawing attention to a lot of the issues, a lot of the problems, a lot of the excitement, even a lot of the fun things they had going on in the 1920s, or things that are kind of going on now. Like there's new dance crazes now that are happening that have kind of built up over the years, just the way, like with the flappers and all the stuff that they were doing and all that kind of, it built, like, it didn't just happen right then. It built up, and then it sort of like let loose. And that's kind of what's happening with some different stuff that we're seeing with different types of music. The cars, the automotive industry, I don't know, I won't go into it all now, but there's so many parallels that's just, that I think we could have a lot of fun with. But also, it doesn't have to be about the 1920s, 1930s. I have another idea that I haven't told you about.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me go through the comments.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So Cassie Garb joins us, says, I love anything to do with the 20s.
Ooh.
Fred says, what is 20s style? Art Deco?
Yes.
And Barbara joins us and says, I'm here too. And Fred said Art Nouveau, like, but it's Art Deco, right?
Yeah. And it changes too. And hey, Barbara, hey, thanks for the idea about the spot in Dallas, Barbara. Man, yeah, I want to talk about that in just a second. And
well, and Nancy says, I want to be in it.
Yeah, heck yeah, Nancy.
So that would be fun.
That would be brilliant.
And Robin joins us and says, Chevy and Shirley are interested.
Hey, man.
We got to get the band back together, girl.
That's brilliant. Yeah, and I'm so glad to hear about your ankle. Like, I've been following it. That, you know, everything's. Unless I missed a post, I'm terrible with social media. I miss a lot. So if you just posted something saying, "Oh, it's bad," I apologize.
I think she's in a hard boot now. So that's
good. Yeah. It seemed like everything was going good. I'm terrible with social media. I will see something and then I'll realize, oh, that was 2 years ago. I mean, I know, like this thing with your ankle wasn't 2 years ago, but I mean, it's hard.
Well, and Fred says, sounds awesome. Owen asked, is this going to end up in a mural painting?
Some of it could, like, the funny thing, that's a really good question, Owen, because when it comes to my artwork, the stuff that I'm putting out, it's going to go out. There's shows that it will go to. So the people that are in it, like, it will be put out and it will go around. And, you know, so nobody should model if they don't want to potentially maybe be out there, you know, somewhere in the shows or who knows, like, honestly, because I mean, I I don't want to sound like I'm too full of myself, and I don't want to sound like I'm not full enough, but or anything like I don't know, but it's just like some of the paintings that I do, some of them go around and they get out there. But for other people though, like for photography, the photographers, there are some phenomenal photographers out there.
What would be cool is for this to kind of all come together as like a joint exhibit.
Oh yeah,
of everybody's work. I mean,
I would love to do that. Like right now, I don't have that put together, but that's definitely something that we could do. Yeah, because here's the thing too. I only know what I can do, and I like when it comes to my paintings and stuff. So I know what I want to accomplish with it, and I know I want to incorporate as many creative minds as I can. And one of the great things about it, having people involved is that they have brilliant ideas. So. Give me your ideas. No. And I will give you as many ideas as I can from me to you. But all of us together, I feel like we're going to make better artwork. But I know what I can do. So I know I have shows that are kind of lined up that I want to do, that are going to happen. Like they're already lined up. But shows in the future, more in the future, would be so great to do like a collaborative sort of show. That would be so, where you have photos from this and background photos and people doing drawings and cartoonists doing cartoons. All this stuff are people that are interested in it. And we've got photography that are just amazing.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to say because there's a few comments I wanted to go through. So Robin says a hard walking cast now. So that's good. Progress.
Thank goodness.
Kylie says I would love to be in it. However, I'm a few thousand miles too far.
Maybe not, Kylie. I want to talk about that.
And Cassie says, "Hey guys, what did I miss? LOL." Well, we're just talking about collaborative 20s art. We're gonna take this art world by storm.
And not just 20s, but other stuff like this whole idea of the collaborative sort of thing. Like the 20s is something that I want to start with, but honestly, we can do lots of different themes. And there's actually another theme that I want to talk about that I haven't talked about haven't talked about you to you yet, because you just got home and I was like, I'll tell you tonight on the stream. But
and my mom joins us and says, you sound like you have a cold or allergies, Jacqi.
Oh, you know what?
I don't have a cold. I just got back. Well, and she knows this, but for anybody out there, I just flew in from Colorado, and the dry air up there in the altitude just kind of wrecked my nasal cavity a little bit. So getting back to Texas, my Texas standard of allergies. So
she's been sneezing since she got back. But
I was sneezing all up there, and then also while I'm there, we do a lot of antiquing, so it's like dust filled rooms. So I'm like, But Owen says same here. Sheila McComas says, hi there. Hey, thanks for joining us. Owen says, thanks. And Tony has joined us and says, hi, John and Jacqi. And Barbara says, will this be a one-time sitting that comes together at a certain date? Because I know some people who have props and clothing from that era.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, Barbara. No, this is something that I think it'll probably be multiple sittings.
Yeah.
And in fact, it'll probably, hopefully, what I'm kind of hoping is this will be an ongoing thing. So with the 20s and the 30s, there's actually some different locations I would like to go to for it. So this is, it's multiple sittings, but so each sitting is going to it will be its separate thing. So if somebody wants to say participate in one sitting where we're going to do a certain thing, pardon me, then that's its own thing. But then for the series though, there's going to be a number of sittings. So maybe if you can't make one, maybe you can make another. If you can make them all, so, or if you say, oh, this one doesn't sound that interesting. But I want to get into that because like one of the things like Barbara mentioned, there like in Dallas. Okay, one of the things I'm thinking the first sitting is probably going to be fairly small. I'm just guessing. Like we haven't put this together yet. Jacqi just got in from Colorado, so we're going to start hashing this out. And I want to reach out to anyone that's interested. And we're going to send a message or maybe make a group. But that's something I want to talk about in a minute. So I know usually on the live streams, like we're just chatting about different things and all that. But tonight we're trying to get a little business done too. and I want to be like as up front and out there. So, doing it on the live stream kind of makes sense. And plus it's going to be fun, guys, because we're going to show this stuff around. So one of the things, there's so much to talk about, but
well, let me say really fast. Kylie says a Los Angeles show would be amazing, and Fred says I like the contrast of the 1920s to 2020. And then Owen said it'd be awesome if it got into the 60s and 70s too.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be brilliant. And the themes are really open for people like Owen and who just said too? Kylie, thank you. And also Christy, I know is in Houston, and there's quite a few people that have asked, like from Colorado to not Nancy, of course, but other people in Colorado, and there's been people from around the country and outside of the country that have contacted me. So I'd like to make this as open as possible where people can participate. So part of the idea I was thinking too is maybe if we do a sitting and you're not able to come here, but you're a painter. If you're a visually impaired painter, this isn't probably going to work for you. But I thought we could live stream or like Zoom or something where maybe like if you're interested, it wouldn't be a live stream like this, but maybe like an invitation Zoom or something, where we could show the sitting or something, as it's happening.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea, especially if this is going to take on this sort of collaborative feel to it. Is we could do something like we set something particular up, and then depending on what the artist statement actually ends up being, invite a bunch of people through this live stream that can interpret it their own way. They don't have to it doesn't have to be like a still life. It can be their own sort of interpretation of what's happening over the live stream. So maybe not even a model. Maybe it's like a show, or it's like I don't know, something even crazier.
Yeah, and one of the things about this is that it isn't all about the 1920s and 30s. That's just what I want to start it with, because that's something that I want to paint. And I thought, you got to start somewhere, so let's start it there. But if we could build these connections, because we do travel. Before COVID, we would travel around. So, like LA is a place that we've been to, we go to, and I don't have any plans right now on the docket to go there, but I know I will, one day. But so if we have if we're in contact and we know we're doing stuff, there might be a sitting or something we could do out there, or a thing where we go and we could do something that's a lot of fun. And kind of like San Diego, I know we're going to be there next summer for sure. And then other places, I don't know. But anyway.
Well, Fred said, I'm not an artist either, but I do run a museum if you need any photographic images.
Ooh.
That would be pretty cool.
See, that's brilliant. That's just brilliant, Fred.
Yeah, and to what you were kind of saying, we need to set up some sort of like collaborative way of talking to everybody, like a Facebook group or something like that, where we can constantly sort of be, it's a big giant show.
And part of that, because I'm a person with a visual impairment, I want to make this accessible to everyone, to anybody with any sort of disability, and that becomes difficult, of course, when you're not in the same area. But so this isn't going to be a solution that we're going to find, or this isn't a problem that we're going to find a solution to probably right away or overnight. But I think if we keep working at this, we'll come up with something. Oh, sorry. Oh, hello.
So, yeah, I would say my goal for this week is to set up some sort of collaborative way that everybody can kind of chat. So anybody that, that has said they're interested or is talking to us and everything, we'll find a way that we can all kind of like gather in a place via online and then really hash out what does everybody want to do with this?
Yeah. And a big part of this isn't only the sittings and all that, but it's the sharing of ideas and stuff. And being able to go to different places. So there's actually some places I want to travel to for this. And one of them is Dallas. I know we live just outside of Dallas, so that's not exactly a big trip for us. But Barbara, sorry, I'm stuttering. Mentioned that the Dallas Heritage Village at Old City, and that's a place that where it just sounds amazing. Like doing 20s and 30s there, it's just it would be brilliant. Also in Dallas, there's the Revelers Hall and the Revelers Hall Band, and they have amazing music, amazing musicians. If you need musicians in your artwork, I've got a feeling you won't find a more photogenic group of people than there. And Barbara has done so much amazing photography, so much that covered them, and it just seems like an amazing place. So that So I don't know, there's a couple places right there that we could go to. Another place is New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be brilliant. I happen to have an uncle who's an actor there, and just an amazing person who's just incredible, and just I don't know. So being there would be good, and he's part of a troupe, so anyway, but I won't go any more into that. But that could be a great place, maybe around.
Well, and
Jackson Square.
Yeah. And speaking of places, Nancy said Chicago in the 20s, think Al Capone.
Yes,
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, the other place that I definitely want to go to with this is Hot Springs. And if you think about Hot Springs, you may think, well, if you haven't been there, you may, well, why in the world are you wanting to go to Arkansas? But Al Capone, his place that he bought, like when he was getting away from Chicago, he went to Hot Springs. That's
the
where
Ohio
the people.
Club, is that it?
Well, yeah, the Ohio Club, but the Arlington it used to be the biggest hotel in Arkansas, and it's huge, and it's stuck in the 1920s and 30s.
They still use like gold keys to get into the room.
Yeah, giant keys, but the bar down is art deco, like the entire downstairs, the bar, everything is huge. It's amazing. The art groups in Hot Springs are incredible. We have quite a few friends there that might be able to point us in the right direction. But just that downtown area around the Ohio Club, around the Arlington, the Ohio Club, and like you say, Al Capone, the streets just, I don't know, it just feels like that,
Yeah,
so.
That would be cool. Tony says a topic would be great, so show each artist's interpretation of the 20s music or dance, landscapes, houses, stores, kind of like on the live stream when we were mentioned that. And then Cassie said, this is such a cool thing you're doing, love the idea. Owen said maybe make a Facebook page. And then Nancy, which that would be a great idea. Nancy says tons of Art Deco in Chicago.
Oh boy,
that'd be cool. And it's funny because Nancy's a big Art Deco fan, so a lot of the stuff in her house it has that style, and it's just too cool.
What is that from the Saturday Night Live? Cheeseburgers. I don't know.
Billy Goats.
Yeah, Billy Goats. Yeah. We got to go there and get a cheeseburger.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah.
I love Chicago. Like, it's just, I don't know. I've only been there I think one time, and we went and saw the Bean. And we went to the museums. I had the best time.
And Robin said Chevy and Shirley are willing to travel for you, John and Jacqui.
Oh, that's brilliant. And that's
a party.
That's one of the things too, is that I think this could be a lot of fun too, guys. I mean, it's a way to really make our art better, and that's what it's about. But also when you make your art better, it's I don't know, it's very rewarding. Like I think I can see us going to the Hot Springs. I can see us going to New York and going with a group of people that have like a mission. Like we got a thing. There's something we want to do, and I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Tony says my one disability is no artistic talent except stick figures and a GSD head. But I'm hoping this could be zoomed so we could all watch, or a Facebook room would be cool. And yes to New Orleans, because that's where she's at.
Oh, brilliant.
And Nancy says Grapevine is where Bonnie and Clyde killed that cop.
So that's
Bonnie
right.
And Clyde, that's a really great.
There's a museum out in the little town out there too. I can't think of the name of it.
I think my mom just chimed in and said Gangster Museum. Like maybe it's something.
Oh, you didn't. There's one in Hot Springs for sure, and then I know out there because I watched the possum guy on YouTube. I can't think of his name. There's Nomadic Fanatic.
Oh, yeah.
The possum guy. Gosh, I can't think of his name. But he's so funny.
Well, Cassie,
Adam the Woo and the possum guy, and I can't think.
Well, Cassie says I don't draw paint, but I've done theater and singing with being legally blind. So
sweet.
I mean, any sort of like talent, any sort of like thought process bringing to the table is awesome.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things is that this isn't really necessarily, for me, for my paintings, it's not necessarily telling the story of the 1920s. It's more about, the story is more about the people, and the people that are alive today, and then reflecting that with the 1920s life and the people that lived then and now, and but it's more about the people. So and then other people though that might want to be involved, they may want to tell the story of the 1920s, which is great. That would be brilliant. I'd love be a part of that and help any way I can with that. And and also what I want to do may change as we get into it, because that always happens whenever you're in a project.
Yeah.
But this is just like the early days of a project. And instead of it just being like me and Jacqi in a room, like figuring out like, okay, well, what are we going to do with this thing, that we're going to do, and where's it going to show, and all this, I don't know, just open it up, and I think by doing that, I'll make it better. And, there's one thing that I wanted to mention to you, and there's so much to talk about. Oh, yeah, one group, we do have a group on Facebook, by the way. This isn't what I wanted to mention, but we do have the Drastic Art Measures group, where we already have people on there that are into making art. We could use that for this, or we can make a whole different group. I don't know. What do you guys think? The Drastic Art Measures group is one that we made, and Jacqi has kept alive, and the whole idea is to make art.
Yeah, periodically. It just, random.
So I mean that's an easy one, but it's not particular to this, but
yeah. But I mean,
but it might be great.
Yeah, this might. Well, Ron says, I know someone that runs an old style arcade on the boardwalk near Atlantic City. He has a warehouse full of props. He even worked at Disney for years and has one of their double-decker buses they used on Main Street, USA.
Man,
we might just have to make a trip to Atlantic City.
I've never been to Atlantic City.
Well,
I want to go to Atlantic City. That sounds brilliant.
I guess we haven't been there. I don't know.
No, I think I've been around it, but I've never been I've never been like to the boardwalk, or never been, all the parts that you hear about that are really good.
I know. Well, and Tony says the Bridge of Dreams is a 370-foot covered bridge located near Brookhaven, Ohio.
Ooh.
That could be cool. And then my mom said Hot Springs, so the Gangster Museum in Hot Springs, which we've walked now that, yes, I remember that museum.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely one there. Yeah.
And Kim has joined us, says, hey, y'all, I'm running late tonight. And then thanks for joining us. Tony says Mob Museum and gave the address, so that would be cool, and that's in Vegas.
Ooh.
That would be cool. And then Owen said Drastic Art Measures ? Haven't heard that one. So we set up a Facebook group. It's actually Drastic Art Members, and it's a Facebook group we set up ages ago for like just random sharing of like articles and collaborative concepts and art and techniques. Like I'll post it periodically if I see like a really cool like YouTube video on how to do something cool. So it's all over the place, but it might be a good solution to like us trying to collaborate.
It might be, and if it's not, like we'll chat, and if anybody has an idea, it's just a Facebook group, but we've done arty stuff on it in the past a little bit, and so it might be a good one. Maybe setting up a new one would be a good idea, but that is one that we all already have, and the whole idea of that group is to make art, so it kind of makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let me say this. It's 8:30, and we have yet to see the painting that's on your easel.
Yeah, but let me say one more thing. Okay, and then I'll go to the painting. I know this is a weird one, guys. But it's not just about 1920s and 30s. In fact, we have a friend, and I can't think of what the official name for it is, but he just started a comic expo. It's going to be in Denton. Brian.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he has a thing, and Christine from the Denton, the
GDAC.
What is it called? The Greater Denton Arts Council? Something, the town that we live in, was like, hey, you guys should do something, like get a table or do something there. And then I was thinking, like, man, see, something like this could be really cool, because we could do a theme, like, cause like it's all about superheroes and stuff.
Oh.
We could totally do like just sort of an offshoot.
So do I get to dress up in a 20s version superhero?
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be 20s at all. That's what I mean. That's
right.
The whole 20s, 30s is definitely like a series I want to do. But this idea, though, it can be about a bunch of other things. I mean, this series for the 20s and 30s, it may take a while. I mean, like to get all, to make enough paintings for an entire show takes a while. And so you can do other projects. Like I will definitely be doing other projects. I'll be doing some murals, I'll be doing some things during, while this is going on. So we can definitely do some other projects as well. But one of them could be like, fun things. Like I'm an uber nerd. You're an uber nerd. We love superheroes. We love fantasy. We love all that kind of stuff. So we could even do like a quick little superhero thing.
Are you looking for an excuse to just dress up?
No, I want to paint it.
That sounds fun.
I don't want to be.
mean,
I really don't want to dress up. I don't know what kind of superhero I would portray. It'd be like.
I'm pretty sure there's a Superman outfit in your closet.
I have a feeling. Oh yeah, there is that. But I have a feeling like if there was a magazine spread of like a really buff superhero guy, I would be the before picture. It'd be like, like before gamma rays, after gamma rays. So I don't think but the whole thing is about fun and stuff. So I thought that's really cool. They're doing this thing. They're putting this comic thing together, and I thought instead of just doing a table, we might be able to do a really cool kind of sitting or have people that are dressed up or doing something, and maybe doing something that's a little bit more fun.
Yeah, that almost like
than just having a little table.
Yeah, that would be cool, and it kind of it spills over into like performance art a little bit, but it would get like some
and.
What am I trying to say? It would get people to like notice it and
it's just fun. I mean, like if you're not into superheroes, like you don't have to do it. But I mean, but they are doing like I saw the thing and they're doing like a costume contest and they're like you don't have to be in the contest. People just dress up. So I think if we did something like that and we did it very artistically and stuff, haven't run this by anybody. By the way, guys, you guys are the first to hear about this whole idea, and Brian would be like, no.
It's a crazy idea. It's
and
crazy.
Christine would be like, what? But I don't know.
Well,
but they're both brilliant people, so I have faith in them that maybe they'll be like, hey, that's cool.
I don't know. I'm curious. Well, my mom asked, did you send off the turtle?
No, it's still over there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still over there. I was hoping to have it done. I hate to admit like any failure with myself, but my arthritis. Gosh, this makes me sound like I'm 90 years old. But I had like a flare up of arthritis or something in my.
Well, that and you're done with the bottom of it. We need to flip it over so that you can kind of do
there's a bit more of the bottom, but I need to. I was having a little trouble with my ankles and stuff with the arthritis in my feet and my knees and stuff, and so they were like suddenly like everything was fine, and the next morning they were just like swollen up. So I was just being cautious because if I keep walking on it like that too much, and with the part that I had to do was a lot of standing and stretching, so I thought I'll just let it wait a day or two, and then so that's what I've done. So
it's almost done though. I mean,
it is almost it's so close to being done. It was really hard not to do that, but Jacqi is this really good voice that in your ear. We got a devil on one shoulder, and Jacqi on the other shoulder. And I'm thinking like man, I could just I could just knock it out. And I'm thinking like, no, if I do that, it's gonna be hurting for days. And
yeah, there's no reason to.
So,
it's no. Yeah. Well, Owen says looking for superhero paintings or digital drawings? ?
Man, always. I mean, well, not always, but I mean, in our day-to-day life of just being nerds, yeah. But I'm not sure. And I don't even know, but this is just an idea that it's a possibility for this thing that's sort of coming up in the area that I think might be a fun little, not like a big, we're going to tell the story that, we're going to do all this 1920 stuff. This would just be definitely like one of the things where it'd be like a day, like it'd be a one-off sort of thing, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think that would be really cool. And so if people are interested in that, and one of the things with something like this is to get people that are willing to dress up, So right now, with all this, the thing that I thought would be the hardest would be getting artists and people that actually want to create. And I've been so fortunate in that the people that have mostly contacted me have been people that are creatives that want to do this. And but the one type of creative that we haven't heard too much from are the people that would actually wear like the 20s costumes or the superhero costume. And those people that I want are everybody, like anybody. If you have a disability, if you're any gender, if you're any size, any shape, because I want it to be people, and so and honestly, I think all that will just come together. I think that'll be brilliant. But you mentioned this painting, so maybe I should talk about it.
Yeah. Well, my mom says really fast. She saw that Edith signed in and is probably anxious to hear when it'll be sent off to Ormond, the turtle that is. So.
Oh, very, very soon. It's almost done. It's on its back. I've done the bottom, and I've just got to the top is. So what I want to do, I painted the whole top, the sides, and everything, and then I've done the bottom, and it would have been done by now, but Old Arthur is this old people saying Arthur is having trouble, but I want to do a little bit more on the bottom, and then I'm going to flip it over and just pair the sides and make sure everything flows. Any little bits and stuff. That's really all that's left. And
well, Cassie says I'll wear one like for the sittings, and Nancy says I'm down. So when Nancy's in town, now we've got her.
Brilliant, man.
And then Robin says Chevy and Shirley will wear whatever you want us to wear. So. Awesome.
Well, that's brilliant, guys.
I'm excited. So
see, it's coming together.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set up some sort of group. Everybody that's been commenting and wants in on this or whatever, I'll invite you guys if I don't already see you on the Drastic Art members.
Yeah,
we'll.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Oh, we'll see what we can get together if we need to. I don't know, section it off or create a room. I'm not quite sure how any of that works, but especially if we do any Zoom or live streaming of sittings or shows or anything. We'll get that together. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out in the next couple of days. And I'm trying to keep a list of everybody that messaged or liked or did everything. So we'll send out and we'll figure out the best way to do it. And but a message or an invitation to a group or something. So if you see something like that from us and you want to be a part of it, join it. Or click on it, and I'll definitely try to make posts and stuff. So I'll definitely have a post out there saying like, hey, if you guys want to do that, join this, and all that. So so we'll try to be out there as much as we can about all this, because the last thing I want is if you want to be involved or if you just want to follow along, you want to be a fly on the wall, you want to all that. I want you to be able to do that, because and this is one of those projects too that this could be an ongoing thing. So. There might not be anything that you see like you want to do right now, but a few months from now, you might be like, oh, that's
crazy idea hits you.
Like you never know.
Well, Karen says so fun, can't wait to see these sittings and how it all pans out. And says if I lived closer, I would definitely dress up. If you're in Oregon, let me know.
Ooh.
And then Tony says, can I join and just watch? Yes. Yeah, we'll share it with anybody and kind of let everybody in on the steps. But, I mean, all the ideas, like the places that everybody's been mentioning, that's welcome, and that's part of the collaboration.
Yeah, and probably the first sitting, this isn't 100%, but probably the first setting might be here in our studio. We have a stage over there, which actually the turtle is on right now. So it'll be after the turtle is done and shipped off. And the outside mural project that I'm doing with the turtle, and so we might be able to set up something over there. But the nice thing about that would be that we'd be able to, in the studio we have cameras and we have mics and all that, so we would actually be able to stream that.
Yeah.
And that and make it more inclusive. And plus, since we're here in the studio, we can fill out some things, and it can make it. It might be a good place to do before we go. To like a location somewhere and try to do it. It might be better if we did it here, where we have access to more stuff.
Yeah. So anybody that's like watching, if you backtrack through all the videos you've ever done, this was probably like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. We were streaming then, maybe 3 years ago. Anyway, we did a 20s night here in the studio where we had 4 cameras, we had a model, and then we had 8 people in here that were all drawing the model.
Yeah.
And then I was dressed up, and your mom was in on the show, and she was dressed up. So if you flip through our old videos, you'll see the thumbnail where it's like some 20s silliness. But that was kind of like, that was a lot of fun. So I would imagine we'd build on that.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. So it'd be kind of, small, but hey, let me show you what I'm working on now, and I'm probably not going to work on it tonight because we're already like 45 minutes in. So, sorry, we just got on this. I'm sorry, but not sorry, because I really enjoyed chatting about all this, and you guys had some great ideas and input. But so what I'm working on though is a seascape. So I did want to mention this though because seascapes are very different than what I normally paint. So can you see the paddleboard at the bottom? I'm not sure how much.
Not really.
Oh, let me move it down. Can you tell me when you can see it?
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh, that wasn't too bad then. So there's a paddleboard down here. So what this is going to be is, can you still see up here a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
See your sky.
Okay, cool. So this is a beach scene, and these are going to be giant waves that are kind of crashing in, and then this is going to be a lot of other waves. And here it's where some more waves, and maybe you can get the idea, but they're starting to roll over here. So it's going to be white and frothy, but this is just kind of the basic underpainting of it all. So you have some waves that are rolling in. You have some choppy waves and stuff here. You got this big wave, more kind of frothy sort of stuff that's going along the beach here. And then the beach, actually over here is going to be some water. Where this, right now it's white, but there's going to be some water that's kind of in here, and that's kind of in here. And then the frothy, so the idea is that you'll be able to see some of the ocean. The ocean's kind of coming in. But it's like, it's a lot of waves that are pounding. So as this coming in, it'll frothy. That's a technical term. It'll froth up a little bit, and then it's going to start to dissipate a bit, and go back in. So if you've ever been around like an ocean or area like that, then how it starts to do that. And so that's what's going to be a lot of energy. And then we'll have a paddle board down here. I thought about having just a lot of waves in the ocean. And this is a commission piece. If they decide to, this was somebody's idea, and I thought, oh, that sounds so brilliant. I love paddleboarding. I'm terrible at it. I can only get on my knees, but I love to kayak. My mom is she can paddleboard she paddleboards all the time.
Paddleboarding in the ocean is far different than paddleboarding on the lake, which we did both. I mean, paddleboarding on the lake is a lot of fun. I did a yoga class. It was crazy, but fun. And then we went to the beach and tried it in the ocean, and it's like next level. That's really difficult. So,
yeah. For me, I only stand up in the ocean if I want to not be on the paddleboard anymore.
If you're diving off.
Yeah, if it's a time to get off the paddleboard, you can stand up. It won't be long. But in here I have undulating like light and dark purple and undulating blues and stuff that are going about halfway, not at the halfway point of the painting, a little below the halfway point, going horizontally across. But the idea, though, is that this is going to have a lot of layers of paint over it, a lot of transparent layers, so that it'll have like white froth and then the colors and stuff as it undulates. So this is a bit of a process. This actually took me a bit. Like it's almost, I will say it's easy. Like drawing a portrait is probably the hardest thing to do. Something like this for me is almost the second hardest, maybe. And sometimes a portrait, well, because dang.
Well, I know it's a lot of layers. I see you working on it for a long time. But
it's going to be a lot of layers, but also it's a lot of wispiness and stuff. So my background is really in illustration and drawing. And so it's a lot of like lines. Like you start with lines of stuff. And there are no lines really in here. It's all, it's all like the air is moving, the water is moving.
You're just going with the feeling, man. You're going with the wave.
Exactly. But it's like, but you want to keep the volume right. You want to keep it so that it looks right, because if you have too many stiff lines or anything that's going in, it's not going to be right. Plus, you have light that all that you're really working with when it comes to water and the air like that is the differences in light going through the atmosphere, where it's a little denser because of the moisture, a little lighter, because of less moisture, and even more so when it comes to the water. So, like up here, I have like it's all kind of like it's a purpley sort of area. This is going to be the darkest sort of area where there's like it's really dense water. Up here is lighter because it's going to be going like shh. It's more light is getting through. And that's a lot of work in your noggin, to have to think about. And then so I'm just building it up kind of slowly in the shoreline. I was building that up a little bit earlier before we got on here, just before Jacqi got home, because it was just these dark. When I did the shoreline initially, it was just the dark lines that you might see here. So it was just the dark lines, and then I started building it up a little bit using like some different filling paint, but. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm working on right now, guys.
Well, Fred says beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
And Karen said clouds and waves are so hard to portray, at least for me. Thanks for explaining your process.
I'm telling you, the clouds and waves are like the ears of nature. The ears and hands of nature, they're the hardest. If you try to draw a person, ears are terrible and hands are terrible. Nature, this is the clouds and waves. But it's also a wonderful challenge. And one of the exciting things about a commission like this is that you don't know 100% what it's going to turn out like, and if you can do it, but, so it's it's just it's just you telling yourself that, well, I'll give it all the time that I can, put everything I can into it, and we'll see what happens. And
well, Nancy says, you got it perfect, John. It's like Hawaii.
Oh, you're so sweet, Nancy.
And then Robin says, go with the flow. And then speaking of the project, the collaborative project, Kim says, I was thinking more on the lines of inventions and technology, not so much people, so I may have another be on another creative wavelength.
No, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, like incorporating the technology then and the technology now in some sort of work.
That could be a really brilliant. Cool. Yeah, that could be a brilliant.
And Fred said, living art, speaking of that. So, then Kim says, oh, landscape is my thing, so I love this seascape. I enjoy randomness and flowing nature pics. Yes, love the purple waves.
That's brilliant. I love abstract, and nature, the waves and air is so much of an abstract sort of thing. And it's hard for me because I came from an illustrative background, so I love abstract, and I love the emotion and feeling behind it. But it's a little bit longer of a trip for me to get there, I think, like to be able to, like to let myself go, to be free and be able to go like, whoa, gotta wee, instead it's more like, I don't know, building lines is generally my forte.
And
but
Karen,
I love to work on it.
And Karen says, right, so hard, speaking of waves and all that. One of my favorite exhibits we went to way back in the day was at the Dallas Museum of Art, and it was all seascapes and oil paintings, and it was very old looking oil paintings. And in this particular exhibit, which I'm sure you remember, they had speakers directly over you. So if you walked under the speaker, you heard waves and crashing and rocks or sailboat sounds or whatever. And the minute you stepped like slightly out of it, you didn't hear anything, so it was like a quiet room.
Yeah, it was. Directional speakers.
Yes, I thought that was so cool. But my favorite type, like I get sucked into these style of paintings, are those oil paintings where the waves are like painted so well that it's like they're almost like this emerald luminescence underneath the wave, like the sun's coming through.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be able to master that. That would be pretty awesome.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Well, man.
We'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, man, you guys had some wonderful ideas and some brilliant things, and we're going to reach out to everyone that, if you have an interest in this project or just want to follow along, it's all cool. I mean, it's, I know sometimes people say, well, I don't have a creative bone in my body, but sometimes people express their creativity by enjoying art and by curating art, by collecting it, by just appreciating it, by going to galleries, by going to museums, and by experiencing art in their lives. I mean, like for me, I love music. I can't play music except on Spotify, but music's a big part of my life. And even though I can't play an instrument, I love it, and so I think it's the same thing sometimes. Maybe if you can't draw and paint, but art is a big part of your life, and it doesn't mean that, that's because you paint every day or something. It could just be you really appreciate it and it makes you have a better day. So if art makes you have a better day and you want to just watch and follow along this, just let us know. Like, don't feel like you're strange for not, I don't know, getting a camera out or getting anything. If that's the way you express yourself or you enjoy it, then I'm all for it. That's brilliant.
Well, Karen says, I love interactive art. What a great experience. I love interactive art as well. It was very cool. And then my mom says, remember the piece your teacher did in Houston with the water running, making her photo come alive. So yeah, I mean, we went to an exhibit and she had photographs and water was like over them and rippling. So it reflected onto the ceiling with these water. It was just so cool. But, something like that can be pulled into like this collaborative project. So if you want to do multiple types of things like sensory with a piece, that would be awesome. That would be next level.
That could be really cool.
And Fred says inspirational. So,
man, well, thank you guys so much. I think Jacqui just got back from Colorado. I got a feeling I should probably go make her some dinner, guys. Take all these ideas and start thinking about this, and we'll be reaching out really soon. But I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, though, because this is I think this is something that's going to make the artwork better, and it's just going to be a ton of fun. And I thank you guys so much for doing that.
Yeah, so anybody out there, I be watching for any sort of shares. If I send you an invite to something, that's probably what we've got going on. And just have a safe 4th if you're celebrating. And
oh yeah.
And see you on the other side.
Bye bye, guys. Happy 4th of
Thanks.
July.